Do you think that Albert Ojwang is going to get the genuine justice that he deserves? Ladies and gentlemen, there are some confidential information that the mainstream media cannot inform you. I just want to expose to you some of the reasons as to why William Samoei Ruto is manipulating the police. The police officers, ladies and gentlemen, is the most corrupt body in this particular country. Why is it that William Samoei Ruto has protected DIG Lagat for that long? Before I inform you about that confidential information, I just want to actually tell you some of the recent developments in the case of the death of Albert Ojwang. Now just stick around as I'm going to reveal to you this very important information. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, it is very interesting that the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Eliud Lagat, has now officially resigned. That is very important because we are now seeing that the big fish is now being intimidated. The likes of Mukwana and Talam were just considered as scapegoats of the small fish. And due to the pressure that has been exerted by the Gen Z and the youth who have vowed that they are going to protest due to the killing of Albert Ojwang, William Samoei Ruto has sensed danger. Now Lagat is going home. Lagat was the main complainant in this particular case and is the one who ordered for the arrest of Albert Ojwang from their home in Homa Bay County. Now he has stepped down and the youths and Kenyans are demanding that he be treated as the culprit in that particular case. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? I just also want to inform you that the opposition has also exposed some of the ills that the police officers do to Kenyans, especially those people who hold confidential information in the police custody. And the revelation by Governor Natembeya has really shocked me that when you post something, or rather when you say something that is targeting the government, the police station is not a safe haven for you. You are going to be tortured, you are going to be intimidated, and you are going to be threatened. And despite all, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to be sexually assaulted. And that is actually the same thing that they did to Albert Ojwang.
Ati kuna watu wameletwa usiku wanataka kufungwa pamoja na huyu mheshimiwa na wamfanyia mambo mabaya sana. They were going to sodomize him. Wameleta jamaa ati anafika pale anaambia mheshimiwa ati mbona ananuka kama mwanamke.
When Albert Ojwang posted that information that was exposing the Deputy Inspector General of Police concerning some corruption allegations, he was actually taken out of that police custody and he was tortured in Karura Forest. And that actually, ladies and gentlemen, is what led to the death of Albert Ojwang. The police officers wanted to know the source of that information to mean that information was real. The police officers, ladies and gentlemen, is the most corrupt body in this particular country. The police are the most corrupt. And if you try to touch anything relating to corruption, the least that they can do to you is to murder you, is to kill you, to conceal the evidence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans are calling for the arrest of DIG Lagat. Even after resignation, he should be arrested. Kenyans are also demanding for resignation of IG of Police, Douglas Kanja, for giving Kenyans misleading information. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, IG Kanja stood and said in a press conference that Albert Ojwang killed himself, that Albert Ojwang committed suicide inside the police custody. And that was wrong.
Yes, we demanded the arrest of the DCI because he lied on oath under the IG, as well as Mr. Lagat himself. And they be prosecuted, and those, of course, who are associated with the murder of Ojwang.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to ask you one question. Do you think that Albert Ojwang is going to get the genuine justice that he deserves? I just want to tell you sincerely that I'm not thinking that the justice, the genuine justice that Albert Ojwang deserves, is going to get. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, let me flash back you to the Kware massacre. You remember the prime suspect in that particular massacre flee out of police station under controversial circumstances. And ladies and gentlemen, in this particular case of Albert Ojwang, there has been a series of cover-ups. And these people have tampered with almost all evidences. Who really killed Albert Ojwang? Who is ready to carry that cross? There is a series of cover-ups, and I'm hinting that the final justice is not going to be served correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? William Samoei Ruto has tensed that the country is not headed to the right direction, because whatever is happening in this country is actually attracting even global attention, and it's actually tainting the reputation of the president. And I believe it is the president who has advised DIG Lagat to now step down. And that is now getting me to the main agenda of this analysis. Why is it that William Samoei Ruto has protected DIG Lagat for that long? Despite the fact that the Kenyans have been calling for resignation of DIG Lagat, William Samoei Ruto has been protecting him. This is the reason, ladies and gentlemen. William Samoei Ruto recently said that he is not going to hand over power to people who are not having any plan. William Samoei Ruto has sensed an early defeat in 2027 general election. The broad-based government is very unpopular. The Kenya Kwanza regime is very unpopular. And William Samoei Ruto himself came out publicly and said that he's not willing to hand over power to people who don't have plan. And his plan for 2027 election is this. William Samoei Ruto is planning to capture the topmost security offices in this country. I'm talking about the office of the Cabinet Secretary of Interior Security, Kipchumba Murkomen. You know where he's coming from. I just want you to know that after the retirement of the IG of Police, Douglas Kanja, it is DIG Lagat, who is also coming from his region, who was supposed to actually assume that office. And with the use of these security heads, William Samoei Ruto is going to actually get what he wants. Ladies and gentlemen, if you never knew, now you know. This is Alois TV. Until next time, adios.